Hello friends, this is Darkscream, and today we're going to cover a blue post that covers changes coming to the affixes in Season 2, arguably saving the season, so let's take a look. Greetings! As we continue to watch everyone play Mythic Plus on the PTR and take in your feedback, we wanted to share additional changes to this week's PTR. Our changes this week aim to further lessen the impact of affixes on Mythic Plus dungeon gameplay, and to match our more challenging affixes to later keystone levels as players progress through the system. We've been evaluating our affix tiers and their impact on the keystones. While we feel the change to bring affixes online at 7 and 14 is healthy, I would agree with this, I think that's pretty cool. Doesn't affect me too much, but if you're working your way up, that's awesome. We wanted also to ensure that the right level of challenge is coming online at keystone levels 7 and 14. With that said, we feel our current level 7 affixes have a larger impact on the moment-to-moment gameplay for groups and have decided to switch the levels that our keystone affixes come online. So basically what happens here is the periodic affixes, the affixes that happen every so often on a timer, they're now the ones that you'll get first. And then the on death or on health range affixes, those ones come in later because they're tougher. Simple change. For most people that push high-end keys, this won't affect anything, right? Because you'll be pushing past 14, but maybe in the first week or, the start of the season, right? It'll make your journey a little better. And for those alts and newer players and casuals, this is just like nice all around, just a good change. Massive dub number 1. All right. Affix updates. In addition to the change above, we've also reviewed the impact of our affixes and made tuning adjustments with the goal of lessening their overall impact on dungeon gameplay. I like the sound of that. So for level 7, Explosive is gone. Explosive's retired. And they're bringing back Volcanic, which, if you're ranged, it is a mechanic. And if you're melee, it's basically not. Which is great. That's fine with me. Massive dub number 2. Next up, we have Incorporeal. Incorporeal beings now fade away when combat with non-incorporeal beings has ended. Basically, this stops the scenario where they keep you in combat and you have to, CC them or line of sight them or something, sprint away. So that makes sense. Is this good for Ret Paladins? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I have some CC that's going to work on these guys, but if I don't have to use it, I'm happy about that. Next up, Entangling. Tangling snare reduced to 30%, was 50%. Tangling now has a visual indicating the maximum range. Entangling now has a distinct sound cue. So these are all wins here. Interesting to note, if the movement speed effect is reduced, the snare is reduced, then that means you have more time to get out of this. This is the effect that you're slowed. You have to run away and snap the vine, like those world quests. And if you do it in time, you're fine. If you don't do it in time, you're stunned. And you obviously don't want that. So, you'll be able to clear it faster. You can start later in the cast, which means you have more time to react. You also have a better visual and better sound, so you won't need add-ons and weak auras to understand that entangling is happening. Is this good for Ret Paladins? I have freedom, so it doesn't really matter what they do to this, honestly. So I would say yes, this is good for Ret Paladins. It'll be more clear when it's time to cast Blessing of Freedom. Next up, we have Afflicted. Afflicted Soul's health no longer scales after Keystone level 20. So, essentially, you can either dispel them or heal them up to full health. These are the friendly spirits that spawn. I like this affix. The way that Ret currently works, you will have Cleanse. That said, we have access to Cleanse, so I'll be contributing on these Afflicted Souls. The health scaling is nice, though, because, of course, the scaling gets pretty ridiculous at that level. Maybe a Word of Glory or a Lay on Hands can finish it off instead of not at some of these higher levels. So, great. Next up, Spiteful. So Spitefuls deal a little less damage, and Spiteful's health and damage no longer scale after Keystone level 20. So this eliminates the possibility of just getting one-tapped by a Spiteful. And I'm surprised to hear, I guess Spiteful Shades are more scary for non-plate users. I mostly just tank them, not super high-level keys, but 21s, 22s, 23s. You just kind of pop a cooldown and keep cleaving, right? They don't hit that hard, but I guess if you're a clothy, they hit real hard. So that's a welcome change. And again, this just prevents eventually with the infinite scaling, it'll just one-shot you, right? And then it's kind of a binary mechanic. That's not the most fun for anyone. So this is good for Rhett. This is good for everybody. Raging reworked. So Raging no longer provides increased damage done. It just grants them immunity to crowd control effects. Presumably, this is still something you can get rid of with a Soothe. This could be annoying. There's some casts out there that you want to kick. It's unclear if this is going to make them immune to interrupts or not. For example, what was it? Inspiring, that one with the Queen Ashara season with the Naga. There was one that could provide immunity to CCs, and it also provided immunity to interrupts, and that sucked. But if this is just like immune to stuns and stuff, that's okay. That could actually work. So is this good for Ret Paladins? I don't know. I think this one's neutral. Raging was kind of weird, because you did have to be careful as a DPS not to rage stuff up too big, or else your tank had to start kiting, which is annoying. I think it's an interesting change. We'll have to see how it plays out. Bolstering. Now, this is, I think, my favorite change other than explosive being gone, is bolstering no longer increases the health. Was health and damage. So bolstering now will buff their damage, which means it fills a niche that raging no longer fills, right? So they're going to get beefed up when they buff each other, so you'll have to be careful how you kill those packs, and sometimes make sure they die evenly, or focus a priority target to make sure that the higher health target goes down at the same time, right? But it no longer increases the health, so you're no longer losing time on bolstering. If you play bolstering incorrectly, you'll just get wrecked, your tank will get wrecked, but not necessarily your time. Your timer won't get wrecked just by the nature of the mobs magically healing up because their maximum health has been increased. So that's cool. Last, we have Sanguine. Sanguine Ichor Puddles now last for 12 seconds, was 20 seconds. I don't feel this totally addresses the pain point with Sanguine, which we all know is mob casts in Sanguine, and there's nothing you can really do about it. It sucks when that happens, but what are you going to do, right? Apparently you're just going to hope the Sanguine goes away faster. I guess that's something. I was kind of hoping for a more creative solution to this one, but hey, still a fairly hefty reduction in the duration. If you have a big room full of Sanguines, it'll start fading faster. You'll get that space back faster. And especially when there's other mechanics that take up space on the floor, you got other swirlies or floor poop to deal with. You can run out of space pretty quick. Especially in the new season of dungeons as well. There's a lot more like winding corridors, tight spaces, so it may be important to reclaim that space on the ground. So overall, it's a pretty lit set of changes, right? Nice to see, nice to see. This patch 10.1 is coming up in, about a month now, and we already have some pretty good-looking affixes. I'm not sure if this will be the final change. So what do you think of these affix changes? Do you think they're good, they're bad? Do they make you want to play more, play less? Let me know in the comments section below. If you're enjoying this content, remember to hit that like, smash that subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Again, my name is Darkscream. Peace.